Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're looking at 100 Bullets 65. And this is pretty interesting. I am in the middle of a sort of revelation about storytelling and fiction and really kind of finding your audience. That's not such an easy thing to do. This is, like I said, 100 Bullets, 65, Eduardo Risso, Brian Azzarello, cover by Dave Johnson. And it starts off with a what would be in a Punisher comic, a sort of comic book or cartoon version of a torture scene. This is 100 Bullets, Vertigo, an imprint of DC Comics, not held to the comics code, I don't believe. And this is a very real torture scene where Lono, I do believe Lono is the 6th or 7th member of the Minutemen, is questioning this guy, Fulvio, who is a head of one of the other houses, the 13 houses. And so there was a hit on the Medicis a couple issues back, where Benito was having ice cream and coffee with a very cute girl, and she got shot instead of him. They tried to kill Augustus Medici first, and that failed. Then they tried to kill Benito, and Shepard was there, and he stopped that. He stopped the one on Augustus, too. Lono here is now the Medici's warlord of the Minutemen. Here's the thing I don't understand about this entire series. They limited their assassin pool to 7 people. It's genius for fiction. It's genius for storytelling. I get it why they did it for a comic book. In real life, that's not really what would happen. These guys would have private armies. But this is great for a story. And so Lono is questioning this guy, clipping off his fingers, and now he's going to move on. He's kind of asking him questions, but this is more exposition. This is exposition in a torture chamber. Lono's not really asking questions, not yet. But anyhow, he clipped off this guy's finger, and he tells him that, he's going to get onto other body parts soon. And then we cut to Vic at a strip club with Luke Hughes. Now that Shepard is dead, we never did see how Wiley and Dizzy got out of the desert when Shepard got killed, but we did see Lono and Loop get out of prison, or at least we saw them after they got out of prison, the day after, driving a car around with Lono in the back and Loop as his driver. And now Loop is at a strip club with Victor Ray, which I'm sure is a reference to something from the 40s or 50s. Some kind of record player, I don't know. But he's trying to teach the kid a lesson. The Loop wants to get drunk, and he tells him, we're about to do a job, don't get drunk. And then, this bit is kind of funny, this page right here. Loop says, Lono trained me. Lono got me ready. I'm hip to the bad motherfuckers we're up against. And you're hip? He trained you? Basically, Vic is like, you gotta be kidding me. But Loop insists that he's ready. And when it comes to bad motherfuckers, Vic realizes Lono didn't train Loop in anything if he's still talking about him that way, considering this. Loop was not present for any of these sessions. And so after he takes the thing off, he says, I acted alone. And he punches him, and then he puts a finger in his mouth and tapes it back up and tells him that the next thing he's going to cut off and put in his, if he doesn't give him the right answer, he's going to cut off something else and put it in his mouth. This is pretty brutal. And this habit of cutting back and forth between scenes in this comic is constant. It's what gives you a break from scenes like this. If this was just one character and we had to ride this scene out to the end and then get a scene with, a completely different kind of scene, it leaves the audience with too much of a bad taste in their mouth is an easy way to put it. But it's easier to break this up because it's too brutal to do this all at once. Like, I already know what's coming, but this is a lot. It's one thing to read it through the first time. It's another thing to know what's coming. And I do like how the color palette changes. Vic decides he's going to take a different sort of approach with Loop, and he sends him off with one of these girls. This is an example of how this writing is so good because these characters seem like real people. He seems like a battle-hardened veteran. Loop seems like, a fresh off the boat sort of green soldier who's all excited and shouldn't be. And he wants to get drunk, so he buys him a drink and says, all right, look, why don't you go take one of these girls too? And Loop does. Meanwhile, this guy is learning a different kind of lesson. So Loop takes this girl back, and she starts talking to him like he's her son. And she really sort of lays it on thick. Meanwhile, Lono has really sort of, this guy's still got his finger in his mouth, and Lono's about to crush his family jewels, is the way to say it, I suppose, and he does. So then he tells him when he takes the tape off, you better tell me who you're working with. And he does. Kasha. Helena Kasha. I think that's how you say her name. And he knows that she wouldn't do anything without Javier Vasco. So it's a whole mess of vipers. It's a whole gang of treachery. So Fulvio is the head of one of the houses of the 13, but he's now implicated two others as well. And she really lays it on thick, the bit about him being her son and this and that. And it starts to, and then she calls him by his name. She calls him Loopy. So Vic not only told her to do that, he told her to call him by his name, Loopy. And this pisses him off. He throws her off. They start calling each other names. She tells him if he hits her, it's game over. So see why this is too much to get all at once? It's good that they cut it back and forth. And this is a lot of exposition, but he's also torturing a member of the 13 to death. So Lono's the guy for the job, especially if Shepard's dead. So, but yeah, he says the House of Kasha is just a wing on House Vasco, and the House Carlito was thrown in with them too. So yeah, this is a lot of exposition. Lono is explaining everything while he tortures one of the members of the trust to death. But he's uncovered this whole little conspiracy to attack the Medicis. And this guy named Helena Kasha, and she works with Javier Vasco, and he says that the House of Kasha may as well be a wing of House Vasco, and if Carlito's thrown in with them, well then your house is about to go on the market. He says, I have heirs. No, you won't. I have children. And come on, Fulvio, I'm a Minuteman. You know the score. Puts the cigar out. And it looks like a kick, but that's a slash. And then he goes and grabs this shopping bag and dumps out the heads of this guy's children. So Lono points out that this guy went after Benito. So, not only did he go after one of the members of the trust, but he went after that member's kids. And so this makes them even. Lono did the same thing, killed his kids. So he eliminated that entire house. Wiley killed Anwar Madrid, and I am going to get issue 25. Find out who killed Daniel Perez. Loop is pissed at the club, and he goes and confronts Vic. He's going to punch him, and Vic tells him, I will break that arm in 6 places before it gets a foot from my face. But Loop is pissed, and he really wants to punch him. And that's not a position from which you punch anybody. This is pretty, the art's great, and it's pretty funny how Loop gets in Vic's face. And then they go back and forth about, she is your mama. I thought you understood. I wish you just, if you don't understand, at least get with the program. And this, honestly, this is good, but it just goes back and forth. Nothing gets resolved. Vic just kind of is a bit of a dick to Loop. But Loop is sort of a hothead, so he kind of deserved it a little bit. And Vic's just pulling his chain for fun. And, he's like, dude, she's just like your mom. Imagine, she's a single mom with a kid trying to make ends meet, blah, blah, blah. And what are you trying to tell me? It's a small world? No, it's a big world, but there's only 7 stories. That's something from Shakespeare. I've heard that before. There's only 7 plots. But, yeah, whatever. Vic gets a phone call, and that's about how interested I am with that. And it's Lono. So the trust is now down 3 families, and they're about to lose at least 2 more. So they go from 13 to 7. 100 bullets, 65. All right, see you guys tomorrow.